Hey, how's it going, fellow Chojins and loyal vassals? It is I, the Overlord, here, bringing you another SH Regards NeptuneMan review of NeptuneMan. So, NeptuneMan, where do I even begin with this guy? So, in the NeptuneMan series, whenever a new villain is introduced, they're always played off as ridiculously OP. Like, it's not even funny how NeptuneMan is supposed to win against these guys, but he always pulls through with the power of friendship, of inner strength, all that BS shonen, typical shonen stuff. He always comes out on top. But NeptuneMan, where should I begin? So his original identity, while I'm talking, I might as well show you off the figure. NeptuneMan's original identity was actually Coral Man, and Coral Man was considered a perfect Chojin. And what is that? I'll get to in a bit. But essentially he was too good of a wrestler for his own good. Like, there was no opponent that he couldn't beat. He didn't see anyone worthy enough to challenge him. So he decided, you know what? I'm gonna kill myself because the world is not ready for me. So as soon as he kills himself, quote unquote killed, he doesn't actually end up killing himself, but well, he does, but he doesn't. He jumps in the water. But when he jumps in the water, he finds by coincidence, he finds another perfect Chojin called Neptune King. And essentially, Neptune King and him is he's exactly the same. They're exactly the same in that he too, again, he was a perfect Chojin, Neptune King. He banished himself, like, this was like, but he banished himself thousands of years ago. So he's been in this water for I don't know how long. And then NeptuneMan coincidentally jumps in the same water, and they meet each other and they start having a conversation. And Neptune King's all like, you know what, I'm tired. Or at the time his thought process was all like, I'm tired of all this tournament bullshit. I want the good old days of classic death matches. And so he decides to take on Coral Man and give him the Neptune mask, and then he dons the NeptuneMan persona. So what's interesting about the mask is another aspect about the his oh god, oh man, sorry, spring is right around the corner and there's like pollen. I have my window right open, so my allergies are kind of like kicking in. Oh my god, I hate allergies. But anyways, where was I? So his Neptune mask possesses magnetic powers from the earth. And the only, well, that's besides that. Anyways, I was gonna go off on a tangent and explain how to stop the power, but it's ridiculous OP. So essentially he can drag opponents to his own body. It doesn't really make much sense. Like, if he has magnetic powers, he'd only be able to attract magnets, but he's able to attract human bodies. So I don't really know what the science behind that, but it's shonen, so you know, whatever. Anyways, he's able to use magnetic force from the earth to bring opponents towards him, which in wrestling would be a big deal, because if he's doing like a pile driver and then he's gonna, like, you know, he can just use magnetic force to pull himself towards the ground to apply more force, stuff like that. So that's pretty much a big deal, on top of the fact that he's a perfect Chojin, which, by the way, I didn't mention, but so essentially perfect Chojin are in a class of their own. There's a idle Chojin, perfect Chojin, and devil Chojin. Idle Chojin being NeptuneMan, which pretty much means he's a good guy. The devil Chojin is just their, I want to say they're evil. They're just classified as evil. They're not actually, they don't do actions that are classified them as evil. They're just devils, you know, they're creatures. So that's like Ashura Man or Buffalo Man, stuff like that. But anyways, NeptuneMan here is a perfect Chojin, and perfect Chojin essentially many moons ago, they had like godlike strength, so they decided to banish themselves to the heavens. That's right, to the heavens. That's where they trained for thousands of years, where they transcended emotion and gained power that essentially rivaled the gods. So they became super OP up in the heavens, and they had 3 strict rules that they abide by. Is that the word? Never use weapons, never show your back to the enemy, and losing is not an option. These were the 3 rules that they followed by. So they're supposed to be a pretty big deal, even though technically, spoiler alert, in the manga, NeptuneMan loses and shit. Because Shonen and Kinnikuman's the main character. He's got to win. Yeah. Anyways, this is NeptuneMan. By the way, I didn't mention he's actually modeled after Hulk Hogan during his days in Japan, apparently. Something I noticed, the very first time I saw this character, I thought this was actually his part of his hair. Like I thought his bangs were seeping through his under his mask and coming out at the end here, but no, that's just his mustache. But now that I've told you, you probably can't unsee it. So there, it's his bangs, even though it's his mustache. But yeah, there's NeptuneMan. I'll show you the. Should I go to the articulation first? But yeah, sure, why not? His hair doesn't really get that much in the way. He can look that far up. I feel like he can look farther up. He has ball joints right here and right here. It's kind of an unsightly gap, but they kind of extended it because of his bulky nature, so it gives him a little bit more range of motion. That far down. Stuff like that. He's got the same butterfly wings going on where you can have his shoulders pop out of his body. And there's a ball joint in that shoulder and a hinge, so you can get a pretty creative if you know how to manipulate the joint. He's got a cut at the elbow, which is more anatomically correct and how an actual elbow should move, you know. And then he's got a ball hinge at the wrist. He's got a, I don't think this gets in the way, but he's got the ball joint hinged going on. Looking that far down. Again, I guess because of the vest, they kind of because it kind of feels like his upper pecs or his upper body in general is floating above his abs. You can see that's kind of like floating. That's more of, I guess, a design choice, because otherwise you would not have been able to get as much of a crunch. You know, he can arch his back this far, quite far back, so no problem there. You know, he can move somewhat. Again, because of the vest, it's somewhat limited, but it's no big deal to me. This is actually not an actual solid piece. This is actually painted black, because if you're moving the thigh joint around, you just have to be careful not to scrape it against the side of here of his briefs. Otherwise, you will get black smudges. I don't know if you can. Just remember, if that does happen, always keep some wet towelettes or something around so you can wipe it off real quick. Otherwise, it's gonna be permanently stayed on there. But he's got anyways, ball joints right there. Get crazy with it. Do some wrestling positions, stuff like that. Double jointed knee. This is actually a solid piece, though the color, this color doesn't rub off on his thigh area, so that's good. He's got the cut right there, so you can move it side to side. It's somewhat limited because of the fur. This is actually fur, and if you couldn't really actually tell, it's not like he has some sort of disease on his calves, but this is actually supposed to be fur. Did I mention in the manga color, or did I mention in general that I prefer this one? Yeah, I don't think I mentioned that. For once, I actually prefer this color. This is actually the anime color of NeptuneMan than the manga, because in the manga they have it where his mask is red, his vest is red. This is the same color, and his fur is actually white. But really, what I didn't like about it is the fact that his mask was red. If they just had it silver, everything else I would have preferred. Because of that, I prefer the anime color, where this is silver, green, and this is yellow. Yeah, I don't think I mentioned that. But and what was that? His ankle articulation is somewhat limited because of the fur, but not too much. It gets the job done, is what I'm trying to say. But there's NeptuneMan and his articulation. He looks real cool like that. But I'll show you what he came with. So taking off his head is a real pain, I'll tell you that much. I actually can't believe I managed to, I had him on his default face for a while, but prior to the review I switched it out for the yelling face. That's the yelling face, by the way. This is his default normal face. Here, and here's his other, this is a worried face. You can see some sweat marks right there, and right there, and a slightly like, ah, don't hurt me face, or in pain face, either way. And swapping the head out is in, I'll see if I can do it later on, but it's a pain. He also came with kind of pretty sleazy on their part, where they made it so if you wanted to get the robotic Warsman head, you had to buy this figure, because he came with this and this, because it's more of a scene specific fight scene where he's fighting Warsman and he takes his mask. Because here's another thing where essentially Neptune King and NeptuneMan, their big plan was to essentially have every single perfect Chojin that's in the heavens come down to Earth and take the place of the idle Chojin, and essentially become them. And they can, it wasn't really explained, or at least my mind's kind of fuzzy, so I can't remember. They just wanted to take their masks so they can become them and then rule the world as perfect Chojin. Something like that. Something along the lines. I can't remember. I apologize. But anyways, it kind of sucks that you had to buy NeptuneMan in order to get the battle damage to Warsman. But you know what? It's pretty clever, because it made me want to get him, even though I was going to get him regardless. Aside from that, he comes with clasping hands, where his thumbs are protruding from his arms, so he can have him holding stuff in his arms. There's that. Comes with he already has his actually a relaxed palm hand. You see the thumb is not protruding, it's actually on the side. Relaxed palm there in this one, and 2 closed fists right here. Whoa, more fur. I apologize. Or cat fur. Cat hair. I have a cat. Anyways, closed fists, and he has a pointing to the heavens finger, as you've already seen. Yeah, that's all he came with. It's pretty sleazy of them to include the Warsman face, but you know what? Makes you want to get him. But that is NeptuneMan. Here, let me show you if I can, because you gotta take off the entire head. Whoa. See if I can do it on camera. Because I don't know if I can show you it, but it's kind of like at an angle. The way it's put on, you see that? It's kind of, it's not like pointing straight up, so you can just peg it on. You have to go at it from at an angle. So see if I can do it in one go. Did I do it? Wow, I can't believe I did that in one try. Like literally off camera, I was having a hard time. Before this review, I was having a hard time switching his heads out. But yeah, you just gotta keep that in mind. Rather than sticking at it straight downward, you gotta go at an angle and peg it on like that. So that's something, in case you were wondering. But that is NeptuneMan. And I'll show you off in the slideshow. He can do his signature move. Oh yeah. Forgot. What was that? Motorcycle? Yes, it was. These spikes are not actually just for show. Because of his magnetic powers, he can attract things to him. So he essentially, I guess it would work out perfectly with Warsman because he's a robot. It would make sense, but not so much a human, even though he does it on humans. Anyways, with his magnetic powers, he can pull enemies towards his spikes, which, by the way, they're kind of like angled outwards, but they're actually supposed to be facing inwards, the spikes. But I guess because of his pecs here, couldn't be helped. Anyways, he actually attracts them to his body, so they get impaled by the spikes. So they go and they get impaled. Then he does a double leg suplex. I don't know if I can show you off. Fudge it, I'll do it. Yeah, he has 3 special moves that he does. Let me see. Yeah, he does. He has the Axe Bomber. He has shit, what was it? The Coral Special and the double leg suplex. Let me see if I can show you off real quick. But I mean, when I mean real quick, I mean hopefully quick. But anyways, this is kind of awkward. But essentially, this is not actually the start. This is just me having him ready for the attack. He's actually supposed to be standing. He attracts the enemy and pulls them towards the spikes, and they get impaled. And once they're impaled, he grabs them by the legs and kind of see if I can kind of do it. Hopefully. See what I'm trying to say? He impales them and then he drops them on their back like that. Kind of like that, but not really. The double leg suplex. It'll look better in the slideshow. There you go. So he impales them on his spikes, and then he grabs them by the leg, and then he goes and then smashes them on the back. But it'll look better in the slideshow. But yeah, that is NeptuneMan, the most OP character. He's pretty damn cool. I'm gonna continue to collect the SH Figuarts KinnikuMan figures. You should too. Support them so we can eventually get Terryman and KinnikuMan Super Phoenix. Alright, NeptuneMan, you think this review's over? Give me a high five. Wait, hold on. Give me a high five. Alright. Alright, see you later.